This is Melanie from Melanie B's Creative Studio and Supplies, and today I have probably the most innovative must-have product I've ever brought to you for paint by numbers. It is the LokLik iPAINT. What does this little beauty do? And I'm going to tell you, it will create your own paint by numbers. The beauty of this is you can make a paint by number on almost any surface. It will draw your design on surfaces up to 12 by 16 inches, on flat or raised wood, canvas, paper, fabrics. So you name it, this will do it. And it has not even been officially launched. It's coming up soon. I will, of course, include links in the description for you of everything we're going to talk about today. I just want to jump in to this cool tool. As one of the leading paint by number content creators since 2019, I feel like it is appropriate that I'm bringing you this cool unit. But without further ado, let's talk about what's in this box. I want to show you what is included and what this does. First, you can tell it is very well packaged. It is very secure in this box. I believe this is going to be the instructions on putting it together. Here is going to be the content list. And while I've got this, let me just go over and tell you what's in it. You're going to have the components that will build a machine. You're going to have your electrical power adapter, and you're also going to have a USB cable that can plug into your computer. Now, this also has an app, which means that you can, by Bluetooth, make your creations as well. So I'm going to include that link in the description. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to upload your designs and create a couple projects via the app. It also comes with 2 rolled canvases, which I thought was just like amazing because you can get started as soon as you get your machine. It has 48 colors of acrylic paint included. Whatever design that you use for your canvases that are included, you're going to have the paints to paint something. It also has 3 acrylic paint brushes. So again, everything you need to get started. It's got masking tape, which we'll talk about in a minute. It's got a silicone pen grip because it's going to come with 2 heat erasable pens, which we're going to talk about, and a gel pen. So what is super cool about this paint by number machine is that when you use the heat erasable pen to create the image on your canvas or your surface, then after you've painted it, you can take a heat tool, I think a blow dryer on high heat, and it will erase the pen mark. So for those of us who for years who have thought, oh, I've got to put down multiple coats of paint to cover those lines and numbers, you don't have to do that because you just take something hot and erase that heat erasable pen. The gel pen is for use on, if I understand it correctly, fabrics, embroidery, totes, that kind of thing. So it's included as well. Any 8mm pen will work. I looked that up and did some research before I received this. As long as it fits into the silicone pen grip holder, the pen will work. All right, so I'm not going to go into the rest of this. They sent me this machine in the blue. There's also a white. So I'm going to get out the contents and I will be back to show you how this beauty works. It comes with the screwdriver you need and the long screw and this little silicone piece. You'll notice there is a connection on the back of one of the arms that plugs into the top of the other arm. And then take that long screw, insert it into the hole, screw it in tightly, and then insert that little silicone piece into the top. That's it. Your assembly is done. Be sure to remove this piece of tape right here so that the arm can easily move back and forth. The AC power cord goes right here on the back of the unit, and the USB connector will plug in right beside it if you need to use your computer to make your designs. So today, to create our paint by number, I'm going to be using this heat erasable pen. It already has the silicone sleeve on it. With the door open, position the pen down into the pen holder until the top of that silicone sleeve is into place. Then just shut the door to lock the pen. Now that I have the machine plugged in, the pen in its slot over here, I have it turned on with the power button. We're going to use the app to pull in our image that's going to be printed onto the canvas they provided. There are actually two canvases right here. I'm going to unroll them and just use one of them. And then they've also provided masking tape. So what the masking tape is going to do is allow us to hold it into place. So whether we're using a stretched canvas that has a little bit of thickness to it, or if we're going to use a wood panel, whatever we're using, the masking tape will keep it in place while this arm is moving back and forth. Now, I know I've mentioned in prior videos that my husband and I are living in a temporary situation in a 20-foot camper. So I do not have my typical setup for my studio. So I had to really try to be creative about which way this went and how to record this, because I'm very limited on equipment. So pardon the limited setup that I have here. I hope this is going to be okay, but for now, this is what I'm going to be working with. I am not sure how far this arm comes out, but I'm just going to assume it's going to go as far as this. Because this machine has not launched as of today, which is June the 9th, I'm using a beta tested app. I have a matte protector on my screen, and I also have it set to a very warm setting, so I hope that you can see what's going on here. When you open the app for the first time, it's going to give you a couple of little tutorials that are just like you hit next, move along. Then you're going to go up here to where it says my device, and you're going to hit the plus sign. That's where you're going to connect via Bluetooth. You're going to make sure the power is on, and there you should be able to find this unit and pair it to your device. So mine is showing right here. They provided us with quite a bit of pre-installed images. And so what I'm going to do is scroll and see what I have. These are the most liked images, and then it says new images, and then you can scroll down. And there are all kinds of different designs because they do have cutting machines and they have all these other types of machines that you can use. There's going to be some other types of designs. You can look through the categories here. There's birthday and whatnot, different holidays, popular, scenery, lots of different variations. So first thing I want to do, let's open up the canvases and get this ready, and we'll tape it down, and then I'm going to set up my design. So what you can't see in the angle that I'm recording is there is a little mark over here that you want to line up your substrate. I'm going to tape this down on all four sides just to make sure it's good and secure, and pray that I have it as straight as possible without being able to see a damn thing. For those of you who are looking at it from an overhead view, you're probably thinking, Melanie, that's not straight, and your eyes twitching, but I can't tell. So until I finish printing this out, I won't know. I can always trim up the edges, or when I stretch this, I'll make it straight, and so it will be okay. So now let's go back to the app. I'm going to pull up the workspace. So you'll notice that the screen and the workspace is already set as a default to 12 by 12 inches. So what we're going to do to change that is we're going to click down here on the canvas setup. Select the device as LokLik iPAINT. My app is currently only showing me this one setting as an A3 size, but it might be because I'm still in the beta testing app mode. We've got our library, a shape, text, and pen, which means you can draw and customize whatever you want to be on your canvas. So you can make anything into a paint by number. This doesn't have to just be an image. This could be an image with words. You name it, you can do it. This is going to be the hottest new item that's ever hit the market for my paint by number enthusiasts. And that is why I am bringing it to you. And I'm so excited. I cannot stand myself. Okay. So now I'm going to add an image to my canvas that I've got resized. and I'm going to go to the library, and I'm not going to go through any of these. I want to go to popular because I saw the one I wanted in here. Okay, so I'm going to go with this one that's called Drinking Tea on the Balcony. Now, these are SVG files. So if you're going to upload your own image, you need to make sure it is an SVG file or it will not work. Then we're going to select Go Design, and I'm going to size it up. And if I want to put more than one on this canvas, then I can do that. But I also want to make sure that it's large enough for me to get some detail and to be able to see what I'm painting. And it says right here, the size. I'm going to do an 11 by 11. It's still selected. And then I'm going to go to Make. We have an option between a paint by number and line art, and I'm going to keep it on paint by number. And then I'm going to go to Next. Here I have an option of whether I want a 5 color or a 48 color painting. And I'm going to go with the 48 color, and then I'm going to generate. It says down here PDF, and I can download that. I'm going to click that to make sure I have a PDF version of this color palette schematic. Now it appears that there's only 45 colors in this actual painting. So I'm going to save that PDF to my files or wherever I want to save it. For me, I'm going to put that on my desktop. I have good notes. I'll probably save it in my good notes, but whatever. And then go Next. I'm going to select here, it says pen, and I'm going to select the heat erasable pen, which is the one that I have installed. Here it's going to say substrate, and I have a canvas. Now, let me click that again. It has option of a canvas panel, or a stretched canvas, and today I'm using the canvas. Then we also have the option of adding custom materials, and that's where if I needed to say I have wood, or if I have fabric, whatever, that's where I'd include those items there. This is the size option, and I have the option right now of only doing this size, so that's what I'm selecting. And then we're going to preview. Oop. That's when the machine is going to start moving, and it's going to line up the area that it needs. Now, once it's done its preview, we're going to go here to add to task. It's going to send it to the iPAINT. We're going to push this little play button, and it's going to start drawing it. And here's where I realized that I skipped a step where I needed to seat the pen properly before I sent it to draw. I was able to pause the machine by just clicking the pause button, fix the pen, lower it into the machine, and restart the task. You really want to pay attention to the pen setting before you select the Make button, and I'll show you how to do it properly when I make the next project. So I'm back, and our paint by number has been rendered on our canvas. I'll show you right here. It gives us a status bar as we're printing on the canvas. Now, it said about 30 minutes when it started, but it took, I think, a little bit more, like 45. The app is still being configured, things like that. So I had time to iron my socks and make a cup of coffee, take a hamster for a walk and things like that. But you know, it's a lot quicker than ordering my kits from overseas. With all the tariffs now, it's going to be a lot cheaper. What I really love is the versatility. And so even though that did take a while, I really want to try something because I have it on hand and I found it while I had time to kill. So let me grab that really quickly, and we're going to take a look. Now, one thing I do want to mention, as soon as I started printing, I had to pause because I realized I had not set the pen down in the appropriate position. So basically, I didn't test it to see if it was touching the canvas at the right distance. It ended up pushing really hard. And so you'll notice some of the numbers are almost illegible because the pen was pushing so hard that it was almost bleeding. And so that's something I definitely want to point out that you want to make sure you're doing, is setting that pen at the position it tells you to, because somehow I skipped that step. So when I do this next little project, I'm going to see if it works, first of all, because I am in a beta version of the app. I'm not sure it's going to let me do it, but we're going to try it. So let me clear this off really quickly. I'm going to set up this next project, and we're going to do one last thing before finalizing this video. Before I put this away, let me also mention, yes, these are dark lines and numbers, but after you paint it, don't forget, you can heat set it and remove this ink. So these lines and numbers are not going to show up when we're done. Now, if I want to save this project, I think I'm just going to hit this little save disk up here, enter the title for it, and select a folder where I want to save it. And that's going to save this project. And we're going to save it. And I'm going to get this 4x4 inch wooden coaster, and they're about an eighth to a quarter, I think about a quarter inch thick. And I'd already added some white paint and clear gesso to prime it, because I was going to do just a regular acrylic painting on this. So it's got some texture to it, but I want to test this. I know it can paint on wood, which means it could paint on this side, and it could generate the paint by number over here, but I really want to try to see if it can do it over here. And so while I was waiting for the other paint by number to be rendered, I made an SVG file out of one of my Be Artistic printable kits. So we're going to test this right now. I'm going to go ahead and put some tape on the edges. All right, the next project I'm going to do, I'll start a new canvas, delete this one. What I'm going to do is an upload from my files, and I'm going to select my Be Aesthetic Ocean Waves image. I'm going to drag it onto my canvas, and then I'll resize it and position it where I think is going to work best. I want to make sure I'm allowing for the masking tape that I used. I think this coaster is actually a 3.5 inch size. So I'm going to go with about a 3.25 inch just to be safe and give myself a little bit of white space on all sides. I really miss having all of my tools at my disposal, like a ruler. It sure would come in handy right about now. There's the image. I'm going to select it. Okay, let's just click make. Let's say we're going to do next. I'm going to choose the 48 color, even though there's only, I think, 12 colors in this, because the 5 color is kind of a weird thing, and this one's got more than 5 in it. Let's say generate. So it's only going to pick the colors that we need. Plus, it's going to match to the colors that came in our 48 color paint kit. So it's going to use like number 1, number 6, 20, 22, 34, so on and so forth, out of the ones that it sent us. So let's get our PDF for that. So I'm going to save it. Then I'm going to go to next. See, we already have the device. We're going to select our pen as the erasable pen. And here's where I'm going to say add custom material. Let's see if it will let me do that. So basically all we have to do here is we put in our custom size in inches. When it comes to the thickness of the material, you're going to put that in millimeters. So I have a place you can go on Google and you can convert your item from inches to millimeter or whatever your measurement is. Check pen tip distance from painting substrate. Let's check and make sure it's properly touching. Here's where we want to make sure it's barely touching. Okay, let's see what happens. Confirm. We're going to name it. Okay, we're going to save it. And then we're going to preview it. Okay, I think that's about right. I'm going to make it a little smaller. And we're going to add it to task. And I'm going to push play. It's going to be so small. Oh wow, it's like just about perfect. I know the arm is blocking it. Well, it worked. Super cute. I'm going to try not to touch it right off the bat because I don't know how long it stays wet from the gel pen. But you guys, there it is. It's my little tiny coaster, paint by number. And I am super impressed. And this is a project I can actually accomplish. If it does this well, I can see how it could be very beneficial for all of us. So I think a super fine tip pen would be very handy. This little tiny number 6 up here, all those are number 6s, and I can tell, you know, that's what they are, but I also know this design because it's one of my designs. It would be nice to have a pen that is a super fine point. I think this one looks like a 0.07, so maybe a 0.05 or something really, really fine would be great. Yeah, it's definitely like a 0.07. And the ones I found on Amazon are 0.05, but since I haven't been able to order them or anything, I haven't tested them.
Yay!
So I know I haven't tested the paints yet or the paintbrushes or any of that, but I know you're going to have a ton of questions for me. I probably won't have the answers yet until I have some more time to play with this machine. But so far, I'm super impressed and I'm excited for them to launch this because you guys are going to want to get your hands on it. I know I've said it like 4 times throughout this video, but I will have the links for all the things in the description below. And so you guys, thank you as always for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I will probably have to start converting my printable and digital kits into SVG files for us now. So be sure to check my website out at melaniebeescreativesupplies.com. If you want to find my videos, my shopping list, my favorite companies, those kind of things, go to melanieb.info. And thanks as always for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate your patience while I have a shaky camera and very minimal space. But I'm so happy I was able to bring this video to you today and this fabulous new innovative product. And I will see you back soon.